Hello everyone and welcome to Lobo and today we're reviewing my second 1000 Toys figure from Devil May Cry 5, and that's the Devil May Cry 5 Nero. Now in my last review of the 1000 Toys, Dante actually made a mistake because I was always calling it Sentinel Dante. Sentinel is the brand that makes the toy, but the 1000 Toys is the line. By the way, if you haven't checked that review, check it. In the end of this video we'll have a link in the end cards, also in the cards above, and of course in the description there are links to playlists of reviews just like this one, and more amazing content for you to watch after watching this video. And before we continue with the review, let's start that intro.
I'll cover you.
So we got ourselves our 1000 Toys Nero, and let's take a first look at him. Now I've already reviewed Dante before, as I mentioned, and I love that figure. In the beginning I was a little bit skeptical, and I did call him always Sentinel Dante, but apparently the lines of toys is 1000 Toys. Sentinel is the brand, a little bit like Figma is the toy line, and Max Factory is in fact the company that makes it. So Sentinel is the company, I think 1000 Toys is the toy line. Now let's take a look at him a little bit close up. Now I gotta say again, I feel like the promotional material faces are actually a little bit better than what we get. I felt the same way for Dante, and I do think Nero is the same again. Definitely a bit disappointing in that aspect, but most of the rest of the figure I thought was amazing on Dante. Let's see if we see the same way as Nero. Now the jacket again is an amazing detail. We have again bendy wired. Again, it feels a little bit bulkier because the figure is so small and it's hard to make the jacket just right. But again, I do feel like they do a good job. And again, the jacket is the only part that is cloth. I do think having a cloth shirt would also be good. Unfortunately, we don't. And actually, this is like a plastic piece. And we have the amulet is actually like sculpted in the neck and then in the shirt, so it's a little bit weird, especially when you move the neck it will not align. But still, I love the arm detail. The paint job itself is very clean, very well done. Again, this face, at least I do think it could look a little bit better. It's not as good as the promotional material. Even the air, I don't think it's as good as the promotional material. In that aspect it does disappoints a little bit, but overall I still think it looks amazing. And again, I love the jacket. So weird, unfortunately, that it's so big. Like, definitely I'm not going to put light like this. Always have to put it down, otherwise it will look extremely weird. And that's a pity. I would love to be able to put the hoodie on. But again, I do feel like they did the jacket a little bit too big. And overall, it is solid. It's a very solid figure, and it does stand very well on its own. Yeah, it stands well on its own. Now this is the normal version and not the deluxe version, because the deluxe version is not on sale in Europe and I cannot import it from Japan in time. Now for the most part I actually think this one does not compensate so much the deluxe edition, but I have a complaint, is that the deluxe edition does bring one arm that I really wanted, and it's a pity that it doesn't bring with this one. It brings still a couple of arms and very good accessories, but not as much as the deluxe edition. Speaking of accessories, we do have, first of all, our pamphlet that tells us what the figure brings and how to exchange hands, how to exchange faces, all of that good stuff. Nice instructions, very clear. I'm actually surprised on how well done that is. We have a stand. Of course, it's not a plug-in stand, it's the exact same stand that Dante brings. Black, it's a decent stand, but again, I rather plug a stand directly into a figure, so it's a pity that this one is a claw style stand. But it is solid, the joints all feel really good, so you do have the possibility of do some area poses with that stand. Then let's look at the Red Queen, and this sword looks amazing. I gotta say, I think it's definitely on par with the swords from Dante. Very well painted, very well sculpted. One little criticism I have is that there's actually no way to hide that place where you plug in to his back. Like Dante's swords all have a way to hide that. So that's actually a pity that you don't have a way to hide it, but it's still well integrated into the sword, so it's not a big problem. Then we have the blue rose, and a little bit like ebony and ivory, I wish the blue rose was a little bit more detailed. Still looks very good, it's a very good looking weapon, but it doesn't have a lot of the ornamentation that the original one has. I know it's hard in this scale to do those things, but for the price, they should have done a little bit more detail on these guns. Now for arms, we do have some alternative arms to the one that he brings in the field. I will show a little bit more. We have the rocket arm that he can skate on, like the punch. It's punchline, I think it's the punchline. Now the punchline is not always on this form. I find it funny, maybe can actually do some things with the stand and the punchline. Looks good, it's not one of my favorite arms in the game, but still looks good. Now I don't remember the name of this arm particularly. It's one of the first arms that you unlock. It's a very simplistic look, definitely not one that I'm going to use a lot, but you have the option. Then this one I also didn't use a lot in the game, and it's disappointing because I do feel like they didn't give us the best arms possible. I also don't remember the name by heart, you can put it down in the comment section below, but it's an okay arm, looks cool, is well painted, but again, I do feel like they saved a lot of the best arms for the deluxe edition, and that's a pity. And then we have actually two of the main arms, the one with the electricity blast, but these ones are just props for you to put on his belt, like replacement arms, like in the game, and they're well done. I think it's a pity that they put two exactly the same arms. They should have given us like two different types to put in the belt. It's a pity that it's the same, but okay, it's okay. I decided not to be lazy, and this is Galbera, and this is Overture. So I was forgetting the names. That one is a name so weird, I'm not going to even bother. But yeah, Overture is definitely my favorite on this set. And speaking of Overture, we have Overture already put in him, and we have Fist Hand to replace the open hand, even though the open hand is probably the coolest one, especially if you have another character just to put him against. Now let's take a look at hands. We actually have in the other arm this normal pose hand, but we have a trigger hand for the blue rose, a normal fist hand, and a grabby hand for the red queen. Now each of the devil breakers only brings one hand, except of course for Overture that has the other fist hand, but hence it's a little bit limited, but we have everything that we need. I just wish we had the burster arm like it has in the DX edition, but we don't, so we have to make do. Faces, we have that neutral face that I was complaining about earlier that doesn't look quite as good as the promotional material, close enough but not as good. Then we have this pedo Joker face, I don't know what else to call it, it's a weird face, it's weird, it's creeping me out, I don't like it. Just come on Nero, please don't look at me like that, it's weird. And then we have this angry face. It's okay, but gotta say, actually I'm a bit even more disappointed with the faces of this guy than I am with the faces of Dante. I don't know why. Dante's face grew on me. I hope the faces of Nero also grow on me, but I definitely think it's not as good as the promotional material. And I do think at least two of them are a little bit weird. Now they're a little bit different to Exchange and Andante, because you actually need to plug in this little part here to the hair first, and then when it's plugged in, you plug in exactly the same way as you did with Dante. It's not as straightforward as it was with Dante, but okay, it's an okay system. I do love that it doesn't create almost any gap. It's a very nice clean look overall. Now exchanging these arms, let's see, I think you just push it from the bag and you put the new arm in, and there you go. It's an easy system overall. And now for putting those arms in, so you push the jacket and you just peg them in this little plastic part. Seems soft, so be careful not to do it a lot of times and start creating some damage to that soft plastic part. But overall they go in very easily. And as Dante, we have a peg behind his back. Can we focus there? Behind his back that can go through the jacket, so we can put the Red Queen. And there you go. It's too dark. There you go. You can see it. It's a peg, and now we can peg the Red Queen. There it is, and it's adjustable just as it was with Dante. Again, watch that review if you haven't yet. Now quickly, just to show you if this gun enters very easily to the hand, and it does very easily. Be careful when switching hands, because the peg is so small and can probably break relatively easy. And let's give him his gun. There you go. Now a small detail that I've noticed, there is some paint bleeding here on the arm. Probably this paint comes from the jacket, a small defect. So as you can see, it's not just KOs that have these problems, some originals do. I'm not sure if I can clean that up. I hope I can, but again, it's covered by the jacket, so it's not a big deal, but definitely there's the problem there.
So a bit like Dante, this figure brings enough accessories for some amazing dynamic poses. And yes, I said poses.
And now comes the interesting part. Let your fingers get in there and have a good old rub-a-dub.
Okay, so let's take a look at this articulation. We have that, let's just show you here, that ball joint to the head. Gives us great range of motion, and then I believe we have another ball joint on the neck. Now the neck articulation and head articulation are amazing, but again, I wished that this accessory color would be an actually color or something that was better molded, because some positions will make it look weird. Now of course we have our cloth jacket that is amazing, and it's in a bandy wire. And then we have our ball joint ball hinge system on the arms that gives us great range of motion, just limited a little bit of course by the jacket itself. We have a double hinged elbow on each arm. We can consider that we have a rotation on the robotic arm, swivel right there. And of course we have small, very small, and be careful, fragile ball hinges on the hands. Now here, I believe last time I said this was a ball joint. On this waist, I'm actually not sure, maybe I can check in my previous review. But does give us a decent crunch, even though this is a not a hard plastic, but a soft plastic piece that gets a little bit in the way. We do have some waist rotation and doesn't interfere with the crunch. Now these guys are just in ball joints on his waist, and then we have the legs. These are in ball joints inside that area, gives us a nice spread. We can rotate, swivel on top, kick forward, kick back, double hinge knee. Our boot has a rotation on top. It's a floating piece itself. We do have a kick forward, kick back, pivot, toe bend, and of course already told you about this peg on the sword that allows us rotation and adjustment of the position of the sword. The articulation in this guy is amazing. Some of the best articulation that I've seen in figures outside of Figma.
And if you want more details, you can actually check this diagram right here that can actually help you to understand better the articulation.
Yeah, boy.
1000 Toys, Devil May Cry 5, Dante. Heritage Figure Arts, Cowboy Bebop, Spike Spiegel. Heritage Figure Arts, Darling in the Franxx, 02. Figma, Fate Apocrypha, Mordred. Figma, ReZero, Ram.
And now for my final verdict on this figure. It's a very conflicted one because again I feel like there's a downgrade from the promotional material, as the faces are not really as good as we see in the packaging, but still in this scale I actually find the figure amazing. Most of the things that I have to complain about are serious complaints for a figure that is expensive, but for Devil May Cry we actually don't have anything better except for Asmus that are ridiculously expensive. A bit like Dante, where this figure shines is in an amazing articulation, great accessories. They do have a very nice paint job, the cloth makes all the difference, that amazing jacket. So while I do think they're a bit overpriced, I do think they're still one of the best Devil May Cry figures out there, and it's getting my low budget otaku seal of approval. I do wish we see more 1000 toys from Devil May Cry 5, including V, Virgil, Trish and Lady. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Now thank you for watching this review, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and hit that little bell icon to always know when the next video is up. Check the description for more content. I have more amazing reviews just like this, another otaku related content from anime, gaming and movies.
See you next time. Do it!